Heisman favorite Chase Young will not play this weekend due to an NCAA issue from 2018.
Okay, a lot of questions around what happened to Chris Carter. We have an answer for what happened with Chase Young. This is a direct quote from Chase Young. Unfortunately, I won't be playing this week because of an NCAA eligibility issue. Period. Double space. Makes me wonder if Chase Young typed this up or not.
Oh.
Chase Young's a little bit young to be doing a double space after a period.
Agreed.
Well, he is in college writing papers, so he knows to do the double space.
They still expect you to do that in college?
Well, no, just to get more. So if you have a 2-page paper, you double space.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. 100% right. Just find it interesting, though, because I don't know if they even teach anymore. Fox, were you taught to do 2 spaces after a period? His microphone's off because we're calling a guy in the back.
I don't think it's taught anymore.
It definitely wasn't when I was in school.
Really? Okay, so...
Or maybe it was, but I just never did it.
All right. So 2 spaces after the period there. I made a mistake last year by accepting a loan from a family friend I've known since the summer before my freshman year at Ohio State University. I repaid it in full last summer, and I'm working with the university and NCAA to get back on the field as soon as possible, period, double space. I want to thank my family, teammates, coaches, and the whole Ohio State community for all the love and support. God bless and go Bucks. He's got no shot. This is what the NCAA lives for. Right now, the university is investigating it, hoping that they can punish him enough that the NCAA says, okay, Ohio State took care of it enough. This is the best player in football. He saw Bosa succeed by sitting out his senior year. This guy's proven enough. I assume him and Ohio State will come to an agreement where they'll be like, hey, you're just suspended for the rest of the year. Sound good? Yep, I'm going to go train. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go to the NFL. This stinks for college football because this kid was a lightning rod on a football field, a game disruptor, a game wrecker, a game ender. Best player on defense in college football, and they also had the best quarterback on offense, says people that know stuff in Justin Fields. Does this change the Ohio State team? I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who this looks good for? Obviously Penn State, who was voted in the College Football Playoff Committee's top 4 already. Also Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
PJ Fleck, if he can get by Penn State this weekend, Sky U Mall, row the boat. Did another microphone just turn on? Sounded
Sure sounds like it.
Sure sounded like another microphone just turning on. And if Minnesota can get past Penn State, then they can potentially get by Ohio State now, who doesn't have the best defensive player on the year.
How about Ohio State 2 years in a row? Bosa just like 3 games in, stops playing, and now Chase Young, when they're about to make a run, stops playing.
Well, it's very convenient at the highest his stock could possibly be. They find this minor violation from last year.
Minor. We don't know how big that loan was. And by the way, how did he pay it back?
Good question.
That's the interesting.
I think
part.
it's just
He's
a
got
way
pretty
to have
good
him
paper route.
sit out without having to face the
What'd you say?
backlash.
He's got pretty
Bosa
good
got.
paper route. A lot of customers. Fast bike.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. This will not change his NFL draft stock one bit, by the way. The NFL gives 0 damns about a loan he got from somebody who probably wasn't a family friend that he met the summer before his freshman year. But, hey, Chase Young probably, I don't know why he would lie. Let's say it is a family friend, but even if it's not, the NFL doesn't give a single damn about that. Oh, we're about a much more higher moral team. It's like, but the NCAA kind of questionable morals anyways.
For sure.
He had to give a statement regardless. And I like that Chase Young, by the way, came out. Instead of saying nothing, instead of saying we're going to let the details sort themselves out, which a lot of people probably tell him to do, instead he comes out with a statement and explains that before his freshman year at Ohio State, a family friend gave him a loan in which he has fully repaid. Now Ohio State's digging into it in hopes that they can find it out, sniff it out, penalize him enough that the NCAA won't start snooping around what's going on in the Ohio State. Now, this is an interesting time, though, because with the players being able to make money off their name and likeness and money eventually coming to players here in the near future, granted, it's still like 3 years away, what will the NCAA standpoint be here on this whole thing? This is the best player in college football by a lot of accounts. This is top 3 pick in the NFL draft next year. What will the NCAA say whenever they find out that this guy got a loan from a family friend, he's saying? Chase Young has never lied to me, so I'm not assuming he's not going to lie to anybody. Got money from a family friend. He paid back the loan, so no harm, no foul. They're going to look into how he paid back the loan, though, because that's another question as a human student-athlete. Student-human athlete. Student first, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Way before you're being a human, you're a student first. But You have to think that Chase Young, although he loves the Buckeyes and he's having a hell of a season, he definitely saw what Bosa has been doing. He was potentially Rookie of the Year candidate who sat out after 3 games to rehab a groin injury. Now, this is much different than an injury. He could still play. He could still dominate. But if he's going to be suspended for a few weeks, does he stick around and continue to do that and put on for the Buckeyes? Or does he go train for the NFL and say, you know what, I'm going to do just what my brother Bosa did last year. I'm going to dominate my rookie year. This is interesting, and this is intriguing. And for Ohio State and all of the Big Ten that has 2 teams in the top 4 of college football playoffs, this is quite a earth-shattering announcement. Now, let's assume that Ohio State has other players that we just don't know about yet, that are younger, that haven't gotten their opportunity yet. Let's assume that that's happening. But the best player in college football having to sit out is a big news story going into a massive weekend of college football.
I'm interested to hear your answer here because you've talked both sides. Would you want him to sit out and not go for it anymore? Or since they're the number 1 team in the country, would you want him to play for a national championship if he's allowed to?
Yeah.
I know that's what.
I don't know. I'm happy. I was never anywhere near that position. You know what, Pat? I think you should sit out for the NFL. That never happened. I just want that to be known. So I don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot on the line here. But what if he sits out, doesn't get the training for the NFL, which is a different type of training, by the way. He has to work on 40 time. He has to do all this stuff that they don't do during the season. He has to do a lot of stuff. Now, granted, the Ohio State strength staff, I assume, is a very good one. Bosa left, though, and really turned it up a notch and got himself become very valuable, which Chase Young has already done. Do you stick around, train, do all this stuff for when you to come back and then you get hurt, right? Like then you got to think about that now. When you're out of the game for a couple of weeks, which it's only 1 game right now. Let's assume the NCAA is going to sniff around and maybe it's going to be a couple more weeks at least. Loans are a big deal. Reggie Bush lost his Heisman because of something like this. I mean, this is something that the NCAA does not like at all. Got a lot of old whites making decisions over there. They do not like it because they got their hands in a cookie jar too. So anytime anybody else is getting some cookies and taking up their cookies, they're going to be upset with it. That's why I've always thought that it's going to be very difficult to change the rules because a lot of people are benefiting off it are the people that are making the rules. So this is going to be interesting with Chase Young. Feel bad for the kid though.
Anytime I see something like this, I always just think of Jalen Smith, too. When he was at Notre Dame, they played in the national championship. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He blew his knee out. He falls down like mid-second round, and now it worked out for him. He got a second contract, but there's no guarantee that was going to happen.
A lot of hard days, too, in rehab.
Yeah.
And now you're walking into a facility that has a lot of legends. So you're not just being treated as if you're an automatic legend, too. You're a rookie again, and you're all by yourself. You're rehabbing, which can be tough. Jalen Smith, incredibly mentally tough person who got a lot of money on the other side, got a real bag, but it's not. Who knows if it's always going to work out like that. I feel bad for Chase Young, though.